Now that we've got so much great admin support here at the podcast, we're focused on just doing what we love, which is interacting with you, the community, and getting on the mics and recording podcasts. It means we're going to have a lot more time to answer your questions and to get back to you fast. If you'd like to put an audio question on the podcast, there's two ways you can do that. You can give us a ring at 888-554-8428. That's a toll-free number, 888-554-8428. Or you can just record an MP3 file on your computer and just kick it to me at dan@lifestylebusinesspodcast.com. Be sure to plug your site and we'll put it on the show. Today on the podcast, Ian's got a new office, how to visualize your revenue figures and how to find your 5 hours. Let's get moving. Hey everybody, welcome to the Lifestyle Business Podcast, where we believe starting a profitable business is the best way to achieve the lifestyle that you desire. How you doing, Ian?
I'm doing great, Dan. What's going on over there in the Philippines?
In the Philippines, it's hot, man. Everybody's talking about how hot it is. I'm sweating. I'm feeling dizzy. I thought I was feeling dizzy because you're yelling at me every day about all the stuff I'm not getting done, but it turns out it's just really hot. I heard a rumor that you are sitting in our brand new office. Tell me the story of, real quick, why did you get an office? What's going on there? What's the vibe like? And what kinds of things do you have to think about if you're going to get an office like that? And anyway, why did you get another office when you already had an office? Are you just greedy or what?
That's just how we roll. No, it's totally not greedy. Let me tell you about our office. Our office is situated in such a way that we have an awesome view of the airport, and we also have an awesome view of the bay. Is a shared space with another company, and we're doing it startup style over here, baby. We all plunk down in one room, and we're banging it out together. And yeah, that's how we roll. It's a mile and a half from my house. First of all, let me tell you, you already know about what my commute used to be, because you used to do the same commute, 45 miles each way to the office. So it was time to move closer to home. I was burning an 8 to 10 hour day just driving in the car. So it was time to move. And no, it's not expensive. I'm not spending all of your money.
We're talking about lifestyle considerations basically here. I mean, how do you think it's going to improve the lifestyle and the personal freedom of everybody that's working for our company?
It's really impacted everybody. I think, one of our guys was doing basically the same commute, loves living by the beach, didn't want to live up north. We're all in a room together, so I'm really happy about that because we're going to be able to bang it up startup style. And I love working that way. I love working, face-to-face, desk-to-desk, just hammering out problems. So really excited about that. And yeah, it was a total lifestyle decision. I mean, I can ride my bike to work now, and that's what matters to me at this time in my life. I mean, before it was a little different. I sacrificed, did what we had to until we had a little bit of cash, and we can spend it on this office. So now we're living the good life, and it's not that expensive.
Hey, a couple things I wanted to mention, some quick things around the internet that I've been looking at, and a quick tip before we get into the core section. So one thing is, Chris at My Egg Noodles actually said that he disagrees with some of our points, which actually got me kind of excited because one of the things I realize is how much of an idiot I am, at least. So, I'm assuming I'm making a lot of mistakes here, and if people can correct me, that's going to help me learn. Part of the reason I'm excited about the live format actually is because if I say something whack about WordPress, someone can give me that feedback. And we've gotten some great feedback from some guys who are really sharp that listen to the show and say, whoa, your ideas are a little off about this, or your guys' SEO sucks because of this. And one of the things, Chris from My Egg Noodles, that's a great blog. I definitely recommend it. He mentioned that it's very common now for people, especially in WordPress, it's very simple to set up your permalink or your URL structure so that there's key terms in the title. And you can do that by setting up your permalink settings in your WordPress backend. And for example, you could do percentage, post name, percentage /, and that's going to automatically pull your post name into your URL structure, and that's good for SEO. Well, one of the things Chris noted to me, and he linked to an article to SEO Land, which we'll link to in this podcast show notes, that basically said you can't have like a huge proliferation of key terms. You want to keep it to a targeted few. And so that means when for a lot of people listening to this are WordPress users, so excuse me if you're not, but you can, basically what you want to do is you want to shorten up the amount of key terms that your final URL is to just the most important ones. And what Chris had noted on our podcast, which obviously gets very little development attention up until this point, our URL structure was super long, thus kind of watering down the impact that a more targeted URL structure could have. So thank you, Chris, at My Egg Noodles, supporter of the show and great blogger. Another thing I wanted to mention is that our Tropical MBA recruitment program was mentioned on the ribbonfarm.com blog. And that's
very
exciting
awesome.
to me.
Very awesome.
That's exciting to me because I think that ribbonfarm.com was hands down the best business blog of the year last year. It's just he's an innovative, exciting, I would say a thrilling thinker. Works for Xerox, like super bright dude, and just getting mentioned on his blog was exciting. So anybody who wants to hear great thoughts about organizational theory, definitely check out ribbonfarm.com. Today we're going to talk a little bit about visualizing revenues, and that's something that actually Chris from at My Egg Noodles brought up on his blog. He has a goal to become a millionaire
by 30, right?
By the time he's 30, which I think is a great goal. And so the way that he's visualizing this is that, generally companies.
By the way,
are
Chris,
worth...
I read your blog. You can't even friend me on. Jeez.
At anything Ian, yeah.
Yeah,
you're following Chris, right?
I think so. I'm gonna have to check on that, but
Jeez,
he'll probably call me on that. But
you're an awful social media guy, man. You're just so old school over there.
I send out postcards.
You have a rotary phone like plugged up to a microphone, which is plugged into your assistant's computer right now, right?
I don't even have a mouse. I don't even have a cord on my mouse. I don't know how you could accuse me of being old school.
Unbelievable. By the way, this show's live right now, right? We're recording 10 a.m. Manila time. It's 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've got a phone number, which we're going to start to put at the beginning of the show and on the website. If you want to ask questions for the show, just give us a little dially. But let me get back to this thing. So he's basically saying he's got $1 million company on his hands if he can drive $333,000 to the bottom line in a year. And the reason for that is the rule of thumb for company valuation is 3 times your bottom line, essentially.
As long as you can actually sell it, right?
Yeah, assuming it's a saleable company, we're hoping our company could potentially be worth more than a 3-time multiple because of its growth rate. So if you can, obviously this is just a rule of thumb. There's a lot of exceptions to this. Twitter is a great exception. Their EBITDA is like negative, but their valuation is much higher. So in a startup scenario, it's different. But also one thing I've noticed, Ian, is that in the internet space, things are much more volatile. So some internet companies can be worth much less than 3 times their EBITDA because, I think that does make sense too because, we were just looking at, for example, Plugin ID, the personal development blog, which is pretty famous, is for sale right now. And the seller noted that he would be willing to take, essentially 11 times. Essentially, he was talking about 1 time EBITDA, so a 1 multiple.
Yeah.
And I think that makes sense because you can just get sideswiped on the internet. Something happens. You cross Google the wrong way, and that's like 60% of your traffic, and all of a sudden your earnings plummet, and it can go down like that. The 3 times thing is something that's a rule of thumb for us, though, and I just want to tell a quick story about how visualizing revenues can really work.
Because we do the same exercise like every day that Chris did on his post, and so maybe we should share exactly what we do every day with our calculator. Is that what you're going to share?
Well, that's one of the things I'm going to bring up. It's so important, and a lot of the great entrepreneurs that I've met, they do this. They think of these numbers that are just like so far outside of almost believability for anyone in the room with them that they start to manifest in the most uncanny ways. And when you have that number lodged in your head, you carry yourself differently. Because look, if I've got X number in my head, I can't act like a guy who's making Y. I got to act like a guy who's making X. And I'm not talking about spending, I'm talking about selling. And you have to start thinking of like, well, this product line isn't going to get me there, or this brand isn't going to get me there, or this kind of work, or this kind of staff. I mean, essentially, we use this justification to hire our designer, because he said, look, there's no way that we can reach our goals this year if we don't have a full-time designer on staff. When I first met Sean Ogle, I remember we were sitting over a bowl of soup in Bangkok. He said, I think he was like pretty amazed that we're just gushing our numbers, but we're numbers guys. We by the way, we plant this number in every employee's head. We're not shy about our revenue. We announce it to everybody every 4 weeks, and we let everyone know. Our conference call is coming up in 20 minutes. Everybody knows that number. Everybody goes to bed at night thinking about that number. They wake up in the morning hearing it from us. I even send order emails that come through our e-commerce outlets to various employees saying, now think about this times 5. Think about what that feels like. Think about our ad programs. Think about our copywriting. Think about everything in terms of this goal, this number. I'm sitting there over the soup with Sean, and he's like, all right, so you guys are doing X. And I'm like, but here's the thing. By December, I want our turnover to be this. I remember the look on his face was like, he thought I was crazy, and he like immediately launched in because he saw this opportunity to I got to shake this guy down. Like, he's like clearly crazy. He's like, how are you going to get there? And I start going off about like vague. I basically start giving him a million different vague opportunities. I'm like, well, Ian's talking to this guy, and I'm putting up this thing, and like I think this could work out. And I basically listed off like 12 different ways to get there, but nothing that was fleshed out at all. And he's looking at like.
Here's the thing: is that we actually had 25 things that we were working on probably at the time.
Yeah, and I think what he saw was what was actually producing revenue for us at that point, and it was clear to everybody that that wasn't going to get us there. So we had to like get moving quick. But that's what we were focused on because we had that number in our heads. And one of the things that's really interesting that's happening is that number is starting to manifest. Here we are. What is it? It's April, right? I was talking.
Quarter 1 is over. Yeah.
It's mid-April right now. This conversation with Sean over soup happened in January, and I think I was talking about basically like a 300% growth in our turnover by December. And well, we're over 150% the way there already.
Yeah.
And it's April.
Yeah.
And even me and you have arguments about this. I call you up and I'm like, man, I'm so beat up. I just want to quit. I just want to like the beach hut is only like 2-hour plane ride away, and I'm just gonna sit there and just do mango shakes for like 4 weeks.
I love mango shakes, by the way. Those are by far my favorite shake to drink.
And you're like, no way, man. This is working. We're getting there, and you're right. When you've got these numbers in your mind, we're seeing this stuff manifest, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
Well, here's some of the ways, the practical ways that we make it happen. 2 points right off the top of my head. One is I always make myself feel like I'm behind the ball on the revenue. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I never sit back and think, wow, that was a good month. I think, well, that could have been better. I always make myself feel like I'm behind the ball on revenue, which is probably bad for my health in general. We always visualize monthly revenue targets. We set revenue targets too. So on the spreadsheet at the end of the month, if we didn't hit our target, which was our projected number, it's red, and then we're behind for the year. So everybody knows that.
And also, I mean, it's like the last week of the month is a critical one. And I'm even on the phone with our sales rep saying, why aren't we pushing this AR into this month? You know what I mean? Like, I never am at the point where like you said, okay, we beat the target by, by 25%. And then our employees are saying, well, we don't really need to push this sale into that month. And I'm thinking, no. We do, right? You don't want to let yourself have an AR head start on the next month. For me, it's always about pushing as much revenue, as much paper into the current month, because that gives you a more opportunity to take it to the next level the next month, in my mind.
I think you're right. When we visualize numbers too, one of our favorite things to do is to sit around with calculators. I mean, I have like three with me at all times, right? I got one on my phone, one on my laptop, one on my desk, or whatever. So I'm always punching numbers. So I'm thinking, well, if we sell X amount of units for X amount of dollars, where's that going to put us? And then I think, well, who are we actually going to sell that to? Well, I'm talking to this guy about this and this and this. I mean, we are always punching numbers on the calculator, trying to figure out how we're going to get to those revenue numbers.
Absolutely. And, they say, what's in your mind is what you're focused on. Today, I got some really crappy emails from some really crappy people about some really crappy deals, I just deleted them. And I'm here with you talking about our revenue goal for this month. And I think that's important. And I know that, especially when you work for somebody else, it's easy to get caught up in that stuff. And it's really important that you put those things in your mind. Like, Ian and I aren't just going for these revenue goals because they're just mindless growth. I mean, we've got real lifestyle goals attached to these numbers, and so do our employees. I mean, we want big things for our company and for our lives, and those things right now correspond for levels of revenue in our company. And so I'm not going to worry about that crappy email today, Ian. I'm going to be thinking about what we can do to get to these numbers and to really enjoy our lifestyle goals. Like, for example, I'm going on a yachting trip at the end of the month. I'm excited about that. How's that for lifestyle design?
Well, that's the thing. I really like your point there, that you just kind of grazed over, and that's a big one, is that these revenue goals and numbers aren't tied to nothing. They're tied to why.
Yeah.
Why do we want to make X amount of dollars in December or this year or whatever? And we have legitimate reasons for that. Not all of them are business reasons, and I think that's what makes it a little bit different than a traditional business.
For me, they're almost 100% lifestyle reasons. I mean, I want to, as a lifestyle concern, I want to be able to serve my customers at higher capacities. I want to make higher level sales. I want to engage in bigger, more important deals. I want to have more personal freedom. I want to do 10 million Tropical MBAs and allow 10 million people to live the lifestyle of their dreams. You know what I mean? Like, these are 100% lifestyle goals that, through which the business is just a vehicle to get to them. And it's the interface,
Yeah, I just want more Twitter friends. I mean, I got 32, man. I look at your list and I just think, wow, what am I doing wrong?
Well, it's just got to hang out, man. You got to hang out and interact with the tweeps. That shit's fun. It's really fun. If you don't think it's fun, man, don't force it, because you're going to be out there forcing it. I can always tell somebody on Twitter who's just forcing it. It's like it's a lackluster tweet, a dispassionate tweet. It's no good, man. You got to be out there with passion. Passionate.
Anybody's got
tweets.
any advice about how I can boost my confidence and get some friends, man? Let me know.
One quick thing. I want to give a quick tip at the end of the episode here. I was talking to my friend the other day, and he was stuck in a rut. And we were talking about, what are the best ways to get out of a rut? And there's different things, like in the short term. I'm not talking about a short-term rut, and there's a lot of things you can do, like 20 push-ups or, cold shower. But I'm talking about a long-term rut. What if you feel like your life is going the wrong direction? I know this is a whole freaking episode, but I want to just put this little piece of icing here at the end. We decided on two things. One, figure out and visualize specifically what your ideal day looks like. And the critical thing here is the same thing with these revenue numbers. Don't make excuses for yourself, and don't assume you're a certain kind of person or another, and go hog wild with it. Write down exactly what you want, assuming you've got no burdens, no cost, no nothing. You can just write down exactly what you want, what your heart's desire is. Here's the important thing. That's not good enough, because that alone isn't going to get you there. You also need to visualize that day with 5 hours of work in it, at least. 5 good, passionate hours of work. I think this is the critical thing, because, and I'll tell you the reason I chose 5 hours, Ian. The reason is that if you've got a job right now, you've got 5 hours to spare every single day. Every single day, you've got 5 hours to spare. I don't care if you've got 8 kids and 10 lawns. You can figure it out. You're very smart. If you've managed to find this podcast at the bottom of the iTunes heap, you can figure this stuff out. That's why I chose 5 hours. So you need 2 things if you want to get out of a long-term rut. the vision of what your exact lifestyle looks like in a pedestrian sense, in an everyday kind of way, not like I want to go to Dubai on a private jet for a week or something, but like what happens when you
not a short-term goal, a real sustainable everyday goal, right?
Yeah. What do your friends look like? What do they talk about? What do you do when you first wake up? What do you eat? What kinds of things do you do? You absolutely must have work in there, 5 hours at least. And the reason is that you need to build value. You need to build value if you're going to be able, to get the things in life that you want. And you can't do that by just kind of hanging around. You actually have to build it. Work in the 5 hours. It's fair and good enough to visualize to your heart's content. But if you can find your 5 hours and you look at that 5 hours and you're like, that would be fun work, just start working. Just start doing it. If that's writing a blog, just start writing. It'll lead to stuff. If that's painting your pictures, start painting. It'll lead to stuff. If it's writing songs, start writing. It'll lead to stuff. Trust me, people that write songs every day for 5 hours a day for 1 year straight, they're professional musicians. That's what happens. They're not people sitting around strumming a G chord wondering where it all went. Actually, Ian, I'm such a rambler. Just apologies to the person who edits this podcast. It's not me. I used to think that I wanted to be a songwriter when I was in college because I looked at songwriters and I thought, wow, they're the most free guys on the planet. I envied that. I envied the fact that he's in Minneapolis one night and Los Angeles the next and meeting new people and all this stuff. And I was like, that's the ideal lifestyle.
Yeah, I had a similar vision and we've talked about it before.
And the problem for me, Ian, was the 5 hours. I could visualize myself in that lifestyle, like meeting a new person every day and playing my guitar in front of 200 people every night and all that. But I actually couldn't come up with the 5 hours that I enjoyed. I don't like writing songs enough to do it 5 hours every day. I just don't like it. It makes me feel stupid. I'm not very good at it. It's too hard. Like I'm not made to write songs every day for 5 hours. And therefore, I can't be a songwriter. I can't make a lot of value for the world that way. My suggestion to everyone on this podcast is if you feel like you're stuck in a rut, find your 5 hours. Just find your 5 hours and you just get started.
Absolutely. It's going to take some work. I mean, I think it's always going to take some work.
It doesn't feel like work, the stuff that we do, our little podcasts and our business and our creative ideas and our traveling and all this stuff. I mean, it's awesome, isn't it? That's my 5 hours, man. And it can be a lot more, too, because I love it so much.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely more.
All right, Ian, thanks for giving me a ring today. I'll see you tomorrow.
Talk to you then.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening. Don't be shy. We've got a mailing list, lifestylebusinesspodcast.com. Go there, get yourself signed up, and we'll keep you up to date on everything